You remember when Eisenhower left? After, what did he say? There's a shadow government in America. It's called the military-industrial complex. And what he was saying was, even I couldn't stand up to him, a 4-star general, so you better watch out. And here we are, with Mr. Pretty Boy, liberal Democrat. We're now bombing 7, 8 different countries. He's trying to start a third world war with Russia. We're setting up fucking NATO forces all around the border of the U.S., of Russia. What the hell are we doing? What is going on? We're in Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Syria. What the f***?
Further, it is very important that the Russian government consider carefully their continued support of the Assad regime.
So will you and President Trump organize an international coalition to remove Assad?
Those steps are underway.
In 2001, former NATO General Wesley Clark was presented a classified Illuminati memo which outlined several countries that NATO planned to invade.
This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
We're going to keep increasing the pressure on the Assad regime and working with the Syrian opposition.
What Russia and what Iran and what Syria have done recently is a humanitarian disgrace.
There's only a few more independent countries left that control their own oil and natural resources, namely Russia, China, Iran, and Syria. And each and every single one of those countries are being attacked as we speak through Illuminati proxies such as NATO, Ukraine, and Israel.
The worst thing possible, they're both in on it. They're for terrorizing, doing terrorism on other countries so we could steal their natural resources for American corporations. They agree on imperialism, the thing we got to stop the most. The thing the left and the right agrees on the most, which is stopping these stupid regime change wars for capitalism so we can steal their natural resources.
We're keeping the oil. We have the oil. The oil is secure. We left troops behind only for the oil. We've taken control of the oil in the Middle East, the oil that we're talking about, the oil that everybody was worried about. The U.S. has control of that.
So I think Trump talks a good game. But what he actually does when he's in office is another matter. And I would note here, just as a final point, that Donald Trump, when he ran for president and in his initial few months in the White House, said that he wanted to improve relations with Russia. He viewed Putin as a friend. He wanted to put an end to NATO and get out of Europe. None of that happened. And in fact, what did happen is that in 2017, it was Trump who started arming the Ukrainians. So Donald Trump can talk all he wants about how he's going to do a 180-degree turn regarding American policy on Ukraine. But in my opinion, that's not going to happen.
That not only is Mr. Trump not working for the Russians, in fact, his administration has been hostile toward Russia. The Trump administration has perilously canceled the INF treaty, the nuke deal, that all other U.S. presidents had respected and left in place. He broke the treaty. It has renewed and intensified sanctions to essentially hammer the Russian economy. It is blatantly intervening and threatening to use military pressure in Venezuela that happens to be a Russian client state. It is pressuring Germany's Angela Merkel, a Russian trading partner, to stop importing Russian oil to hurt the Russian economy. It has shipped lethal arms to Ukraine with the suggestion that maybe they can be used against Russia. It has bombed Syria, another Russia client state.
It's truly amazing the extent to which our discourse here in the West is limited so that we end up supporting the Ukrainians at every turn and opposing the Russians at every turn. This is a truly outstanding case of extreme propaganda.
Conclusion of this video, Trump is a blackmailed deep state agent and will continue what Bush and Obama started. Attacks, false flags, and sanctions on Russia, Iran, Syria, and China will increase when Trump takes office, with a major focus on attacking Syria and Iran. They will even try to have Ukraine join the EU and NATO to provoke Russia even more. So we are about to see major wars when Trump takes office. Trump and Israel will focus on Syria and Iran, while NATO and the EU will focus their offensive on Russia. Since the pandemic psyop has been put on hold for now, they need a new method to steal wealth from humanity and transfer it to themselves, and the tool will be NATO. Trump will ensure that this offensive military-industrial complex tentacle enlarges and steals even more taxpayer money from the people of the world, turning the West into collapsing war economies. Not only that, NATO and the EU will be allowed to censor their opposition even more on social media. We already saw it during the elections in Romania and Georgia, and this is just the start.